You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode?
Hello and welcome to another deep dive episode of Unstoppable Actors, where we are going to be looking at what we can do when the character slips away. I had a very scary experience about 3 years ago when I was casting a play and I had to play a character who was 37 weeks pregnant, about to give birth to her very first child, but was carrying a lot of trauma because her own mother had died during the birth of herself. It was scary because this was something I had zero experience of, and the character was something that I was very much struggling to connect to throughout rehearsals. So I'm going to be sharing my experience, what the rehearsal process was like, because I was challenged and moved out of my comfort zone and worked with a director who gave me exercises that were the complete opposite to method acting. Very different. And then I'm going to be sharing with you how I managed to pull the performance back on the opening night of the show. Literally just as soon as I got on stage. It was very scary. And whether you are brand new to acting, you've been at this a while, or you're returning from a break, there's always going to be points in our career where we get one of those sticky characters that we're struggling with. We can't seem to connect to them, and it feels like we're just going to have to fake act our way through the role. That's something I never ever want to do, because I always want to leave my audience with something. I have a motto in life which I stick to religiously, and this bleeds through into my acting as well, which is to leave everywhere better than how I found it, and that includes my audience members. So I'm going to go into a lot of detail with this because, as I've already said, doesn't matter what level you're at some point you're going to come up against this challenge as well, and I want you to be prepared for it. I've made all these mistakes, so you don't have to waste time stressing out trying to figure it out by yourself. I've done it all the mistakes in the world that you can think of with acting, and I'm here to share them all with you and how you can overcome them. Before I get into this story and what I did, I want to give a massive shout out to Daniel Perez Quiote, who sent me a message on Instagram earlier this morning, and I was just so excited by it, I nearly screamed really loud. And just to give a bit of context to this, Daniel recently joined the Method Actor Circle on the £1 trial offer, and I'd sent him a message to say, welcome, I'm so excited, I can't wait to coach you. And I told him that we've got an audition class coming up this Thursday, so if he's got any upcoming auditions, I can coach him through them before he does the audition. And that was all I was saying. And then he replied this morning to say, hey Louise, I can't make it this Thursday, I work until 10. However, I did catch the Hook Agents workshop inside the Method Actor Circle a couple of days ago, and let me tell you, once you asked us to do the exercise around how the agents would benefit by having me in their books, my confidence went, and he said this in capitals, through the roof. He went on to say, I just thought my show reels could do the talking, but there are so many things going for me that may not be seen so clearly at first, so thank you. I'm going to polish my cover letter and test it on 30 agents and see how it goes. I'm dedicating at least an hour a day to my acting career now, on top of listening to the podcast. I'm staying consistent and I'm creating good habits for when my motivation fades. That was the best message for me to wake up to this morning. He sent it super early because I am so proud of him. Everything that he said in that message is what it takes to become an unstoppable actor. He's committing to the craft. He's been an active participant in his own development. And he's putting the good habits in place now because he knows from listening to the podcast that motivation is fleeting. It's one of those things that comes and goes, but he's still going to be proactive even when it does disappear. So I was really, really, really excited. And I was so excited that the Hook Agents workshop has been so beneficial for him. And you can also get access to that and all of the other incredible workshops inside of the Method Actors Circle for £1. £1. So you can claim your trial offer and have experiences and transformations like Daniel. And if you haven't already claimed the £1 trial offer inside the Method Actor Circle, why haven't you done that? You are doing yourself such a disservice, because there are so many workshops in there that will be game-changing for you. They will massively accelerate your acting career. We have everything from the method acting classes to the audition coaching to business of acting workshops and classes inside there as well, and monologue ebooks. So you are always loaded up and you are prepared and ahead of the game. So I've left the link underneath. It's £1 to try out the membership for a month, see what you think of it, see the progress you make, see how much you learn. All you have to do is use the code MAC1. I want to see you in there and I want to coach you because I know how life-changing this stuff is. It completely transformed my own acting career when I relaunched it, and it's been helping other actors go on and get paid acting work much quicker than they originally thought they could, and the same can happen for you. Let's get back to characters slipping away then. So you already know who this character was and the challenges I was facing because I had no real life experience of what she'd been through. And each rehearsal, I felt like the character was slipping further and further away from me. I was really struggling to capture it. Now, as I've said, this director that I was working with was absolutely lovely, but she didn't work in a way that I was familiar with, which is method acting. And I'm very open-minded. And even though I know method acting is my golden ticket, I know it works every single time, I know it gets me out of sticky situations where I'm struggling, I wanted to work in her way because I'm very, very open-minded and I wanted to try her way of working and see what happened. And so the kind of exercises that she was getting me to do in the rehearsals were things that at first I didn't fully understand why I was doing them. So I would have to do the scene and do press-ups throughout the scene, or I'd have to do the scene and do sit-ups throughout the scene, or I'd have to sprint across the rehearsal room and do the scene. Now, the thing is, at that time, I was at the height of my fitness. And I later said this to my director. I said, I'm actually quite fit, like I train 5-6 times a week. And so I'm not really sure why I'm doing these exercises and what it is that you're hoping I can get from them. And of course, I said that in a very non-confrontational or threatening way because I wanted to work with her and I wanted to navigate this challenge to see if we could overcome it. And she told me that she really wanted me to feel the physical sensation of tension in my own body through the sit-ups and the sprinting and the press-ups and everything else she was getting me to do physically, because that would be an accurate representation of the physical sensations the character would be having in her body from the anxiety of the trauma, of the unresolved trauma. But it wasn't working for me. So then she would get me to do other exercises, which were things like talking louder than the other character in the scene, or just lots of different things like that. And again, I wasn't really grasping how this was helping me connect to the character. If I had have prepped this in my usual way, I would have done my script analysis, I would have done my personalisation, I would have done my punctuation exercises, rampaging. I would have dug into my method acting toolbox and gone, right, I know what I'm struggling with here. I'm struggling with connection. So I'm going to go into personalisation. I'm going to go into tell me who you are. I'm definitely doing rampage and I'm definitely doing my script analysis. I would have done all of that. But I chose to leave it to one side because I wanted to see what would happen. And then before you know it, all of the rehearsals have finished. There's no more rehearsals. It's stage time. It's show time. And I have to tell you, I got on stage and I was bricking it. If you're not from the UK, bricking it means I was basically terrified. Absolutely terrified. I was terrified of the character. I was terrified of the performance because I was like, how am I going to pull this out of the bag? I'm not connecting to them. We'd done a warm-up beforehand, still wasn't connected. And then I got on stage and got in my first position. And in my head, I'm going to swear, so if there's kids around, please cover their ears. But in my head, I just thought, fuck it. Whatever will be, will be. I'm just going to surrender to it and see what happens. Now, as an actress, this is a bit of a side note. As an actress, I've already said to you that my motto in life is to leave everywhere better than how I found it. And this bleeds through into my acting because I always want to leave my audience with something. Maybe it's that they've been through a similar experience themselves, and through my performance, through my authentic portrayal of the character, they feel validated and seen and heard. Or maybe they've got a friend who's experiencing something similar, or a work colleague, and it allows them to generate a bit more empathy for that person because of the authenticity I've brought to the character. Or maybe it just gives them a different view on life and mothers and women, or, whatever's going on with that character's life. Maybe my portrayal of it gives them a different view. But whatever it is, I always want to leave them with something and in a better position than they were when they first came into the audience. But I didn't think I was going to be able to do that because I was really struggling. So as I said, I just said, fuck it, in my head, got in my first position, and then something incredible happened. I looked down at my bump, which was literally a big, massive bath towel underneath the dressing gown. And substitution hit me like a ton of bricks. It just came at me and I was like, oh, wow, that is it. That is it. My creativity went back to a substitution I could work through in the play. And I was so unbelievably grateful for my method acting exercises in that moment because it saved my skin. It really did. And I know I can always rely on method acting. It will always get me out of sticky situations, as it did this one, as it has done with auditions in the past where I've had loads going on in my life and not been in a good headspace, or where I've turned up late for things being out of my control. Method acting always saves the day for me. But this is what happened. Because I surrendered and said, fuck it, I'd relaxed. And because I'd relaxed, I could then focus and a method acting technique came to me. And then because I focused, my imagination switched on. My pure creative imagination switched on and I was fully living through the imaginary given circumstances. And what I had done unconsciously is worked the method acting triangle. And the method acting triangle is relax, concentrate, imagine. So there's 3 points on it. We have to start with the relax. Then we focus on which method acting exercise we're going to use. And then that unlocks your pure creative imagination. And then you are living through the character authentically. It's no accident that this happened. I have spent thousands of hours practicing my craft. I have spent hours upon hours upon hours practicing all the mundane exercises, sense memory, relaxation, the concentration exercise. I have done these no end, even when I didn't feel like doing it, even when I couldn't be arsed doing it, even when I had no auditions coming up, no productions that I was casting. I have committed to them. And that is why they unconsciously save the day for me, because they're embedded in me. They're like a second skin, these method acting exercises. And so when you start learning method acting exercises and you practice them religiously, you will be able to get yourself out of any sticky situation as well. So any character that feels very far removed from you and you feel like you're not doing it justice and you're just not connecting, your method acting exercises will unconsciously guide you through the performance and it will be an authentic one. And what happened to me at the end of that performance is a woman came up to me from the audience and thanked me for the performance. Now, I don't know what had gone on in her life. I don't know whether she'd had a similar experience to the character. I have no idea because she didn't share any of that with me. But she said, thank you so much for that. You had me in tears. So I did my job. Woohoo! I'd moved her. I've left her in a better position than how she first came into the auditorium. And that for me is a win. That is me doing my job as an actress. So again, I'm going to invite you into the Method Actor Circle because you can learn all of these exercises in there. And the great thing about it is every single class is recorded. So you can join it live and you can watch it back on the replay, take notes, practice the exercises in your own time. You could do something similar to Daniel, dedicate a set amount of time every single day to your exercises and you will embed them in you. So they become your second skin and they carry you through performances, even the tricky ones that you're struggling with. And for £1, you've literally got nothing to lose. So I've left the link underneath the episode for you. The code is MAC1. I want to coach you. I want to help you feel super confident and I want to help you deliver performances that get those comments as well, similar comments. See you in there.
I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.